the severe threat. So, Alex, it's getting a little bit more active. The severe weather season is beginning to kick in, Alex.
Absolutely. Thanks so much, Dr. Forbes. Well, a scary situation in Wallingford, Connecticut. A person pumping gas at this gas station narrowly escaped harm when the canopy above him had collapsed onto his car yesterday afternoon. Man. Well, the gas station's owner says 5 to 6 inches of snow accumulated on top of the canopy, but added that it should not have been enough to cause that collapse. Wow, lucky individual for sure. Well, we're going to focus on the threat for more wintry weather here as we work into the weekend. And some of us wintry, others a little bit more wet, but precipitation is coming. So Boston, we focus on you because we are so close to getting to that #1 spot of snowiest seasons. We're 2 inches from breaking that record. Will we get there? Jury is out on that, but we certainly still have plenty of snow cover left across New England. Many areas here still dealing with 2 feet or more of snow on the ground. Now, as we head through this weekend, a little bit of a dip in the jet stream here will bring a little colder air to parts of the Great Lakes and into the Northeast. At the same time, we've got the southern branch of the jet stream helping to bring in a bit of moisture northward. As that moisture flows northward, we'll also be dealing with a storm system developing as well. So all that combining to help to bring in that threat for a little bit of a wintry mix and some snow where we've got a little bit of colder air in place. So Saturday, most of Maine sees the snow, but notice there as you head down to Boston, it is rainy conditions for you. That continues into Saturday night with the best threat for the rain showers and snow, wintry weather through the interior portions of the Northeast. Then by Sunday, same areas dealing with that snow. Keith?
All right, thanks, Alex. One place that just isn't getting the snow it desperately needs, the Sierra. Check out these photos from the Sequoia National Park comparing the snow on the ground currently to 1 year ago. And 1 year was bad, by the way. Today, the USDA released some new numbers saying the warm February temperatures further declined the snowpack. Nearly a third of the sites in the Cascades and Sierra Nevada are reporting their lowest snowpack ever measured. And for the first time, some sites are completely snow-free. Carl Parker is in the lab with a more detailed look at the West. Carl?
Yeah, we are talking about a very serious situation across a good part of the West where we've got a big drought going on, and we do not expect to get a whole lot of wet weather coming up here. One area that is getting a lot of rain, of course, is the Gulf Coast, and we're seeing plenty of rain coming into the Louisiana coast and coming into Texas, and there's going to be a lot more of that in the coming days. And we expect to see flood concerns in this area, but the opposite is true in the West. Now, I want to show you what's going on with the West and the drought there. The drought continues to be very bad across a lot of California and certainly into the interior West. Here is our latest drought monitor, and you've got exceptional drought. That's the worst level of drought now covering about 40% of the state of California, and then extreme drought now covering about 2/3 of the state of California. And this is the time of year when we expect to get our wet weather and our snow. The snow is really important because the snow feeds that agricultural region in Central California called the Central Valley, and we just have not seen it so far this year. Now, we are getting a storm coming in right now. That's the visible satellite picture, and there was a pretty good slug of moisture along with this, but not nearly enough to really help things out. We'll zoom down. You see there was some snow in the Sierra there. We saw some wet weather, generally on the order of just a ½ an inch at the very most there. What we need through a lot of Western California to turn the drought around is something on the order of 18 inches of rain, and that is going to be a very tall order. So there's the snow water equivalent in the Sierra, and you're talking about around 1/5 of what is average. And again, this is really important as regards feeding that Central Valley in California. And if things don't change really dramatically in very short order, it is going to be a long and very dry, warm season and dry season there in California. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Carl. Still ahead tonight, a look at the week from coast to coast, the 7-day. I think that's what it is.
Yes, and we look live at Atlanta. Spring's springing in the deep south, but are the temperatures warm enough and going to stay?
Currently in our area, 80 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Tonight, a few passing clouds, otherwise generally clear. Low 73. Winds east-southeast at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Thursday, partly cloudy skies. high 84. Winds east-southeast at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Thursday night, a few clouds from time to time, low 73. Winds east at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
I got red dirt stains on my boots and jeans, callous fingers from my guitar strings, wild like the wind in the tall pine trees. I got roots and I got wings.
And I turn around and there's 3 rattlesnakes.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Don't worry, Rob, you're covered.
State Farm agents are there whenever you need them.
Americans, 83% try to eat healthy, yet up to 90% fall short in getting key nutrients from food alone. Let's do more. Add One-A-Day Women's Gummies, complete with key nutrients we may need, plus it supports bone health with calcium and vitamin D. One-A-Day Vitacraves Gummies.
Apples are good, as Strongbow Hard Cider better. But Strongbow over ice is the best. Enjoying Strongbow over ice with your slow-motion horse? The bestest. Strongbow, world's #1 hard cider.
Whatever their stickers say, they'll all lose suction because their filters clog. But with our sonic tips oscillating at 5,000 Hertz, only new Dyson Kinetic Science won't lose suction.
Zantac heartburn alert! Stop! Nexium can take 24 hours to work. Zantac's different. Zantac rushes relief in as little as 30 minutes. For relief without the wait, try Zantac. No pill relieves heartburn faster.
At Ancestry, we call it a hint. Simply type in a name and follow the Ancestry leaf far into your family's past. A past filled with stories that intrigue and inspire. And in doing so, reveal the one unique, improbable, and completely remarkable path that led to you. Discover your story. Start searching for free now at Ancestry.com.
Welcome back. Big news from Beverly Hills. Celebrity plastic surgeon Dr. Andrew Orton has discovered an anti-aging breakthrough called Fill and Freeze, and he's giving away 1 million bottles free.
I've spent nearly 30 years looking for an effective, instant breakthrough to reduce the appearance of wrinkles that can be applied topically instead of with surgery or invasive medical techniques. And I finally found it with Derm Exclusives Fill and Freeze.
Wow, I'm young again. I don't feel like an old lady. The lines are gone.
Oh my God. Wow. I can't believe it. It looks really good. It gives you a whole new confidence.
It definitely took 10 years off. If I went to a dermatologist here in the city, I would pay $300-400 for this.
I know you're wondering what Derm Exclusive can do for you. Well, you don't have to wonder. You can order it right now and try it for yourself absolutely risk-free. And here's how.
Call now during this special direct-to-consumer offer and you won't pay $120. Today, you can get your own instant results with Fill and Freeze for only $59. But that's not all. Today, we're taking another $20 off, so now you can get this instant wrinkle-removing miracle for the low price of only $39.95. And as part of our 1 million bottle giveaway, Dr. Orton is including a second $60 bottle of Fill and Freeze free. That's nearly $120 of Fill and Freeze for only $39.95. Dr. Orton will even include his MicroPure resurfacing pads, intensive repair serum, and collagen lift moisturizer, a $200 value free. Order now and we'll even upgrade your order to express delivery. That's a $15 value free. Plus, you even get to try it risk-free for 30 days with our money-back guarantee. But you must call to order. Call 1-800-730-7432. That's 1-800-730-7432. Order now.
Well, this is the big thaw in a nutshell. Temperatures reaching the mid-50s in Brooklyn, New York, and snow melting, obviously, creating a river flowing through the city. But it's a good sign. Usually when you live in the Northeast, you like to see this in moderation. And the spring thaw is a signal of rebirth and rejuvenation. It sounds like a skin commercial, doesn't it? Rebirth and rejuvenation.
Yes. But it can also be destructive and dangerous. And Sam Champion has more in our deep dive into the wild behind the weather.
During the brutal cold of winter months, particularly in high elevations and northern latitudes, the temperature of the soil can drop below 32 degrees, several inches below the surface. As a result, water inside the soil and even inside rocks can turn to ice, freezing the ground solid. But as spring approaches, days get longer and temperatures rise. Sunlight begins to warm up that frozen earth. The soil thaws, and its top layer finally warms up to about 55 degrees. New plants can then germinate, and crops can be planted. But as the earth awakens, hidden threats can also spring to life. Remember during the winter with the water freezing in the soil? Well, that causes the ground to swell by as much as 10%. So when that ice melts during the spring thaw, the soil shrinks back. But the added moisture doesn't run off quickly, resulting in ground that's saturated. It can be more than 60% softer than during the summer months. This can cause paved roads to buckle, opening hazardous potholes. The ice covering rivers and streams begins to break up as well into ice floes. And that can create jams several miles long and sometimes over 10 feet high, higher than the top of a stop sign. These ice jams can cause floods by forcing a river to back up. And in a very short time, the river can rise as much as 10 feet above established flood level. And now, you've been brainstormed. Sam Champion, The Weather Channel.
Oh, well, you know, it is certainly safe to say the countdown to spring is on. There we are, 8 days and 1 hour away from it officially coming in Friday, March 20th at 6:45 p.m. Eastern. Everyone is counting down, no doubt. Keith, where is the spring-like weather here in the 7-day forecast?
Alex, you know what else that's counting down to? My birthday. My birthday is March 20th. So when you want to think about what you can buy me, that's how many days you have left to do that. Maybe
your birthday.
What's that?
Spring for your birthday.
Maybe you can buy me a suit that fits. That'd be a good gift. Let's talk about your 7-day forecast. We'll start with tomorrow. Still wet across the Gulf Coast. Some showers and thunderstorms. Otherwise, pretty quiet. It is worth noting, a place like Boston got into the 50s today. A cold front cutting through, so they'll be back into the 30s by tomorrow. On Friday, the area of moisture expands now into Atlanta, much of the mid-south, seeing showers and thunderstorms there. Still relatively quiet out west. Carl talked about how there's a big problem there. They're still in a drought. Unfortunately, nothing really changing in the pattern to get that going. And on Saturday, this is the storm system that we had our eyes on. We still do. It looks like it'll be largely rain for the big cities. New York City, Boston should be largely rain. My friends in northern New England will be the spot that sees the most snow. That's going to be Saturday night through Sunday morning. There will be a brief changeover on the backside, but typically when you wait for that snow on the backside of a system, there's not quite as much. So there's just some flakes flying around. Middle part of the country, quiet here on Sunday, 73 in Atlanta. And then here comes a system across the Pacific Northwest, some showers in through Seattle, a possibility. As we head into Monday, that system across still a little bit into the west, into the northern plains by Monday afternoon. Quiet though on Monday and actually quite nice into Tuesday here, getting into the low 70s in Atlanta, 70 degrees should do it in Dallas. Alex?
All right, well, spring, they might be around the corner, but could more snow be in store for the Northeast? Don't want to put those shovels, hats, and mittens away just yet. We're going to pinpoint the snow potential that's ahead.
How do I get hotel deals nobody else gets? I know a guy.
Priceline Negotiator.
I know this guy, Coloito, and this guy who knows a guy.
Hey, guy.
I know a guy in New York, Vegas, Dallas. I've known some guys for decades, and some, nice to meet you. Let's deal. My competitors may know a guy, but I know over 60,000 guys. And gals.
Exclusive hotel deals up to 60% off. Priceline.com. Doers. They don't worry if something's possible. They just do it.
At Sears Optical, we're committed to bringing them eyewear that works as hard as they do. Right now, buy one pair and get another free. Quality eyewear for doers. Sears Optical.
We build weather inventions.
Wow, anybody else surprised that actually works?
Mother Nature can absolutely change people.
I'm ready to get out of here and create a new track. This is a tornado emergency.
It was hard to believe weather could do that.
Never seen anything like this in my life.
Currently in our area, 80 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Tonight, a few passing clouds, otherwise generally clear. Low 73. Winds east-southeast at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Thursday, partly cloudy skies. High 84. Winds east-southeast at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Thursday night, a few clouds from time to time. Low 73. Winds east at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
No one thinks they're going to be in an accident, which is why no one wants insurance. So we go cheap, you know, because we're never gonna need it. Until one day, we do. Now that cut rate policy is costing us big. Makes you wonder if there's something better out there. See car insurance in a whole new light. Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Hey, pal. You ready? Can you pick me up at 6:30?
I'm here.
Too late.
I'll go for 5 minutes. Move it. Killing me. You know what, Dad? I'm good.
It may be quite a while before he's ready, but our Subaru Legacy will be waiting for him.
The longest-lasting midsize sedan in its class. The 2015 Subaru Legacy. It's not just a sedan, it's a Subaru.
People that would do anything for golf deserve a store that would do anything for golfers. Visit Golfsmith for the largest selection and guaranteed lowest prices. Golfsmith, anything for golf.
Think fixing your windshield is a big hassle? Not with SafeLight. This family needed their windshield replaced, but their daughter's heart was set on going to the zoo. So we said, if you need SafeLight to come to the zoo, we'll come to the zoo. Oh yeah, we can fix that. Only SafeLight can fix your windshield anywhere in the U.S. with our exclusive mobile glass shops and our one-of-a-kind True Seal technology for a reliable bond.
Thanks so much.
Service that fits your schedule.
Hey.
That's another SafeLight advantage.
SafeLight Repair, SafeLight Replace.
For 4 days only at Men's Warehouse, great savings just got even better. Right now, buy one, get one free on almost everything in the store. Plus, take an additional 30% off all clearance items, from suits to dress shirts and more. Confidence in every look. Only at Men's Warehouse.
Discover Card. Hey, so I'm looking at my bill and my FICO credit score is on here. We give you your FICO score each month for free. Awesome sauce.
Wow. The only person I know that says that is Lisa.
Julie?
At Discover, we treat you like you'd treat you. Get the IT card and see your...
He's out there. There's a guy out there who's making a name for himself in a sport where your name and maybe a number are what define you. Somewhere in that pack is a driver that could intimidate the intimidator. A guy that could take the King 7 and make it 8. Heck, maybe even 9. Make no mistake about it, they're out there. I guarantee it. Welcome to the NASCAR Xfinity Series.
One look at that Red Baron pizza, and you're gonna love it from the first bite to the last. Because a perfect pizza requires a perfect crust. The sauce commands your attention. The cheese begs you to savor every bite. The pepperoni declares you have reached pizza nirvana. And that last slice?
What's it worth to you?
A perfect crust means a better pizza. Red Baron, love at first bite. Pick up a pizza you can call your own. Red Baron Singles.
This Sunday, extreme weather of biblical proportions.
The gates of hell are opening up, and this is the entry to it.
Top 10 Bible weather, Sunday night at 9 on the Weather Channel.
And welcome back. It is time now for your winter weather update. And look at that photo right there. If we hadn't put that locator up, you might think that could be anywhere in the west or maybe in the northeast somewhere. That is actually Hawaii. There is snow coming down, and believe it or not, there is a blizzard warning in Hawaii. Winds could get as high as 85 miles per hour there on the top of the big island of Hawaii.
That's pretty amazing. It's crazy that you think that to find any really wintry weather, you have to get to Hawaii here and maybe even Alaska. But beyond that, that's it.
Right. It's been so mild across a lot of the country. And what's happening right now in Hawaii is you've got this broad southwesterly flow, very strong winds, got a lot of lift in the atmosphere, a lot of moisture, obviously. And so when we look at the radar picture, you see that this is largely a rainstorm that's really centered now on Kahului in the central part of the Hawaiian island chain. But as you get way up in elevation, that's where we're concerned about the possibility of 5 to 8 inches of snow. And yes, those are blizzard warnings at the very top of Hawaii. Pretty amazing for areas above 11,500 feet. Winds could get as high as 85 miles per hour there. And, you know, nobody lives there, but people do work there, right there at that observatory that we showed you, that Mauna Kea. And I wanted to show you the environmental lapse rate here. So this is something that we use all the time in meteorology. Temperatures in the 70s now in the lower elevations in Hawaii, but as you go up, it gets much colder very, very quickly. That's because, of course, the sun heats the land and then the land heats the atmosphere from below. So by the time we get to 15,000 feet, the temperature is 32 degrees and voila, you've got snow there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that's a very interesting thing that's happened today. And another thing that we're looking at is this wintry system that's going to be developing this weekend. So we've still got cold air in place that's going to be coming down through the east. And what we've got here is a look at the rain-snow line along with the moisture that's going to move up. So Saturday, it's just starting to break out there in New England. Then we see more of that on Sunday. You notice that it's mostly in northern New England. Even though the cold air comes in, storm is beginning to weaken at that time. So there's going to be just this little juxtaposition of moisture and cold air that is primarily centered on northern New England. So this is our forecast. There's Saturday. You've got snow in Maine, parts of New Hampshire, a mix there in New Hampshire and Vermont. We find more of a mix going into Saturday night. Temperatures are going to be getting colder, and then on Sunday, it's largely snow across a lot of the Empire State, northern New England, not so much along the 95 corridor, and we may not see very much snow at all in the Boston Metro. So I don't know that we're going to necessarily reach the record there. But then longer term, you know, for the longest time, what we've been talking about is this warming over the oceans. The oceans right now on either side of North America are very, very warm. And that energy is feeding back into the atmosphere. So you have these great big ridges out over the oceans. And now we're going to see one developing over the Atlantic, which is something that we didn't see as much of this winter. But with that big ridge out there over the Atlantic, we're going to see a tremendous plunge of cold air once again for eastern Canada and the Northeast. So not everybody escaping the cold for good, unfortunately.
All right, Carl. So as we get closer and closer to officially ringing in spring, still going to stay chilly. All right, thanks, Carl. Keith, we're going to send it back to you.
All right, back to where we came from, I guess, with that trough in the east. First, let's talk about what's going on in the Midwest. A nice thaw through the weekend here. Temperatures right now not doing too bad. Kansas City, 74 degrees, 71 in St. Louis, and even up into Minneapolis, 55 degrees after a very cold winter. A lot of cold shots coming into the northern plains and obviously into the east as well. We are going to have a weak cold front come through, but this time of the year, the cold front's typically not as strong, although that may change in the next few weeks. But at first, not a big deal. And then we have the ridge kind of building in here. So the overall pattern conducive to warmer temperatures. So this weekend, 20 to 35 degrees above average. That's some big temperature. Northern plains, especially going to be in the bullseye there. Through tomorrow, Kansas City, 72. North Platte, 74 degrees. Minneapolis, 64. And then we continue to stay warm here on Friday. Again, the front has almost no impact on what happens. And as we head into Saturday, 65 in Kansas City, 59 in Minneapolis, 57 in Chicago. Just seems like a couple weeks ago we were in there talking about sub-zero temperatures, but near 60 in Chi-Town.
night. A few passing clouds, otherwise generally clear. Low 73. Winds east-southeast at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Thursday, partly cloudy skies. High 84. Winds east-southeast at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Thursday night, a few clouds from time to time. Low 73. Winds east at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
There were 2 helicopters that were on the mission. One of them started to take off and then realized, I guess, that the weather was a condition and turned around and came back.
A search and rescue mission is underway in Florida right now after a Black Hawk helicopter carrying 11 service members went down in the Gulf. Dense fog was reported in the area at the time of the crash. No word yet if that was the cause of the crash. It's one of our top stories tonight. We're also keeping a close eye on potential flooding and ice jams, a big side effect of the spring thaw happening right now across much of the country, and an active radar night as the storms firing up across the Gulf Coast with heavy rain for there and into the Carolinas. We're covering it all. Thanks for joining us tonight on Weather Center Live. I'm Keith Carson.
And I'm Alex Wallace. I want to start tonight with the storms lighting up the radar right now.
Yeah, some pretty good storms down across the Gulf Coast as well, but they're not the only ones getting in on the action. Virginia Beach, a little bit wet there at the moment. You can see that the ground is still wet, the flagpole a little bit quieter, but there are some showers and storms across the Carolinas. For that, let's go over to Alex.
Yeah, let's do it here as we look at the radar sort of lit up out there here for this late portion of the afternoon into the evening. And you see it. They're right along the Gulf Coast. Those lightning strikes showing up. And also now some storms getting going here across parts of Florida. We're seeing a few here across Alabama, Georgia, into portions of the Carolinas as well. Been following a couple of storms in North Carolina now, pressing their way over towards the Outer Banks. Closer view on these storms, which actually had warnings on them. Those warnings have now been allowed to expire, but we still have some heavy downpours, a little bit of lightning out there as it tracks its way on off towards the east. Looks like a late landing. You'll be getting hit with this within the next minute or two. Racing pretty quickly. We're talking these storms moving over 50 miles per hour to the east. Then we track south and westbound, and more storms here across Georgia, mainly remaining south of the Atlanta area. Macon seeing a bit off towards your west. Albany now seeing some storms as well. And as we work our way right along the Gulf Coast, sort of a steady shield of rain here right along the coast of Texas, working into Louisiana. More of the stormy weather out to sea with more of the steadier rains there on shore. So it's a bit of a soggy time there for us, and we're going to keep things on the wet side and stormy side heading into tomorrow. We've got the risk for severe weather, in fact, Lake Charles included, spreading over towards Montgomery. Hail a threat, damaging winds, and can't completely rule out an isolated tornado. Keith?
All right, thanks, Alex. Another concern that we're watching, flooding. We saw the Ohio River spill over its banks in Louisville, and more rounds of rain on the way, so we're not out of the woods. We have the combination of some ice jams as well as some heavy rainfall that'll be coming in. That could be a problem. Obviously, spring often the time that we do see some flooding. Here's a look at the radar down across the New Orleans area. Pretty good line coming in, some heavy downpours. Most of this not too much in the way of thunderstorm activity. You can see to the east there's a few thunderstorms out there across southern parts of Georgia, but the stuff in the Gulf of Mexico mainly just heavy rain. All right, let's talk about that flooding concern. For that, let's go over to Carl Parker in the lab.
Yeah, we're going to see a lot more rain across a good part of the Gulf Coast, and that's going to go on for a while, really through the end of the week. So low pressure is now in the western part of the Gulf of Mexico. It's spreading a lot of moisture into the Gulf Coast, as you've mentioned, and because the ground is full of water, this is only going to get worse. Here's the upper level pattern. There's a big jet stream dip across the southern plains and northern Mexico, so plenty of moisture being drawn northward and up into the southeast, and we're going to see a lot more of that over the next several days. Here's a look at the high-resolution model. You notice these waves of rain that are coming in next couple of days here. That severe potential is going to be going on tomorrow afternoon in Louisiana and Mississippi, and then more rain into Alabama, into Georgia, more into Mississippi, and then across into the Carolinas. So a lot of the southeast getting in on this wet weather over the next several days. What we're thinking in the next couple of days is that there's going to be a broader area of up to an inch. Then 1 to 2 across a lot of Louisiana and southeastern Arkansas, and some pockets of 2 to 3, even 3 to 5 there in southeastern Louisiana. But much of the southeast will be very wet indeed in the coming days. And again, because we've had a lot of rain in recent weeks, because the ground is wet, there are flash flood watches now in effect. Rivers running high as well. The Pearl River in Bogalusa, Mississippi, now into minor flood stage. Flash flood watch ongoing there up into the Mississippi River and even into the Ohio Valley in anticipation of what's going to happen over the next couple of days. But it has not been all bad news. And as a matter of fact, when you look at the pollen counts, already there's a lot of sneezing and sniffling going on here at the Weather Channel, and the pollen counts have skyrocketed in just the last several days. You notice that through much of February, the counts were 30 and below, and then here you're talking about getting up to 160, 200, 230. And so as that rain comes in, what it's going to do, as is often the case, is we'll wash that pollen out of the sky. It's going to wash it off the cars, off the trees, off the ground, and run it down into the sewers. And so that certainly will help out for those of you who are already beginning to suffer from allergies across parts of the southeast. Alex, over to you.
All right, Carl, that's the trade-off. You get the warm-up and the spring allergies, they come as well. Well, we get to Boston, a spot that is no doubt sick of the snow, and now something's actually going to be done to ease a little bit of the tension surrounding the commuter nightmares the city experienced with all these winter storms that we saw last month. MBTA will offer free fares for one day and discounts for monthly pass holders as a way of compensation. It was dozens of riders that were stranded during the snow-related breakdowns. Keith?
That looks like the Starry Night version of Boston right there. All right, let's talk about what's going on across the Northeast right now. It's pretty warm, actually. 52 in Boston, 57 in New York. People are loving it. Finally a thaw, and actually well-timed and proportionate enough so we're not getting big runoff problems, at least not as of yet. Now, as we head into the weekend, the pattern's going to change a little bit. We're going to get this jet stream to dig down just enough. This is the northern part of the jet stream, or the polar jet stream, that's going to meet up with the subtropical jet stream down here. That's where all the moisture is coming in. So that's the showers and storms we're seeing right now across the Gulf Coast states will be moving up the eastern seaboard. Now, this can be a scenario for a big snowstorm because you have abundant moisture from the Gulf and cold air from the north. However, in this particular case, the cold air really isn't all that cold ahead of it. And that's going to be a big factor as the storm develops as we head into Friday and Saturday. There will be a system and there will be some snow on the northern side of it, but there will also be a lot of warm air at the mid and lower levels of the atmosphere. So by Saturday, we're looking at mainly rain across Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island, definitely all rain for New York City. Saturday night, it's snowing across northern New England, upstate and western parts of New York State. And then on Sunday on the backside, so the low is going to be out here at this point. We will see some snow on the backside of it. Kind of garbage time snow, probably not a lot of it, except for down east Maine. So that will be the jackpot. My people up in Maine going to see 8 to 12, maybe more up towards Bangor, Eastport, seeing some big snow, northern parts of New Hampshire. So the ski area is pretty pumped about this, but Boston probably staying out of the fray. It should be mainly rain. Again, don't be shocked if you see some flakes, but accumulation, not a big issue. It's just going to be too warm. This position of the low is just not good, especially as you look at this part of March. It's not typical to see a big snowstorm. Portland, Maine, though, they'll be flirting back and forth. Alex, chances are they'll change over to plain rain at some point as well, being so close to the ocean.
All right, Keith, well, we continue our coverage of the chopper crash in Florida that went down amidst heavy fog. The latest video of that recovery effort, late-breaking developments, and analysis of the bleak conditions the pilots faced.
The termite swarm has come, but they're flying to their doom. Enter the legions of Terminix, 8,000 strong, backed by 85 years of experience and the strongest guarantee in the business. The swarm came and was met with the might of Terminix Nation and all the men and women who stand with us whose homes will never be surrendered. Sorry, termites. We've got a little swarm of our own, and we have one message for you. Not here, not now, not in my house. Terminix.
Where do you think the strongest muscles in your body are? Abs? Biceps? They're in your eyes. But using a computer can strain them, causing headaches. Now, think about this. Your eye doctor has new technology to combat that. Isn't it time you thought about seeing an eye doctor yearly? Find a Think About Your Eyes doctor near you at thinkaboutyoureyes.com and keep those muscles feeling fit.
The English crown has been protected
respected for thousands of years.
I'm asking Parliament to abolish the monarchy.
What does that mean, exactly? We are not a normal family.
The Royals, Sunday at 10, only on E!
Currently in our area, 79 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Tonight, clear to partly cloudy, low 73. Winds east-southeast at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Thursday, intervals of cloud. Thursday night, a few clouds from time to time, low 73. Winds east at 10. Here's our 7-day outlook.
The wildest weather ever caught on camera. Oh my God! Tonight, tomorrow night, every weeknight, wild weather at 8 on the Weather Channel.
It took James Dyson 5,000 prototypes to invent the bagless vacuum. And another 10,000 to invent the only vacuum that doesn't lose suction, thanks to patented sonic tips. Everything else is history. Search Kinetic now.
The FDA issued a public notice to doctors and patients concerning serious injuries caused by transvaginal mesh, bladder mesh, pelvic sling, and bladder sling. Please call now if you had one of these devices implanted in the last 5 years. You may be entitled to a cash award. If you had a transvaginal mesh, bladder mesh, pelvic sling, or bladder sling in the last 5 years,
please call 1-866-686-7952 now.
From the very start, I wanted Fitcore to be different. If you come to me, it's because you want to do what I do, because I don't do what other people do. It's kind of like creating a brand for myself.
Your business is unique. Your marketing should be too. With Vistaprint, it will be. Get 500 business cards starting at just $9.99. Enter promo code TV500 at Vistaprint.com. Plus, for every $40 you spend, earn $10 in Vistaprint cash.
Stay true to yourself. You can do this how you want to do it, and somebody else is going to think that's awesome and want to do it that way too.
Vistaprint.com.
Well, rescue crews are still trying to recover the damage after a Louisiana National Guard helicopter crashed in heavy fog near the Florida coastline.
Yeah, all 11 service members on board are presumed dead. And for the very latest, we turn to NBC's Mark Potter, who is live on Navarre Beach. Mark?
Well, hi there. I think it's safe to say that the witnesses who heard the crash last night, they heard the explosion, would say that this fog that's rolling in now, you can see maybe 100 yards or so, is still not as bad as it was at the time of the crash.
Searchers spent the day looking for debris from the Army Black Hawk helicopter, which crashed overnight off the Florida Panhandle. Washed up on shore, a piece of the landing gear with a medical kit nearby, and what appears to be a window from the downed aircraft. Senior military officials say searchers also recovered most of the human remains in the dense fog.
As you know, the fog has been hampering those operations throughout the morning and day.
Officials say the crash occurred early last night in the Santa Rosa Sound. They lost track of the chopper around 8:30 p.m. Erica Stone lives along the Sound and believes she heard the crash somewhere out in the fog.
We heard a loud sound, kind of like a bombing, but a little different.
Her husband Jasper awoke this morning to find pieces of the chopper and jet fuel coming ashore on his property.
Every 4 or 5 feet or so, there was some beach ball-sized debris.
On board the chopper were 7 U.S. Marines and 4 Army National Guard crew members on a nighttime training mission.
I can tell you they had several thousand hours in that cockpit. and they had several thousand combat hours in that cockpit.
A Pentagon official says it's feared all of them perished. The two-engine Black Hawk UH-60 is the combat workhorse of the U.S. military. It can carry up to 14 troops at a time with a crew of 4. It has a range of 370 miles with a top speed of 170 miles an hour. The Marines aboard were from Camp Lejeune, North Carolina. The 1st 244th Air Assault Helicopter Battalion, based in Hammond, Louisiana, had never lost a soldier until now. In Iraq, it flew Saddam Hussein after his capture in 2006, and after Hurricane Katrina, helped rescue thousands, plucking many off rooftops.
Now, meantime, the accident investigation continues, and officials have not yet suggested why they think this crash occurred and what role, if any, the weather may have played. It's certainly rolling in here, and it's what everybody here is talking about. Back to you, Keith.
All right, thank you, Mark. And obviously a good visualization of what's going on there. Mark Pardo live for us tonight. Let's talk about what's going on and what happened last night, because he nailed it. Obviously, the fog is something everyone's going to be talking about because of the conditions, and we just want to show you exactly where this crash did occur. There's the Air Force Base. There's Destin, Florida. You may be familiar with that area. And this shaded pink area is where the crash occurred. So this is where they're searching within. And when we talk about visibility problems, there were some big ones. Last night, 8:30 Central Time, which is around the time of the crash, we had Air Force Base around 1/4 mile, Pensacola 7 miles. So somewhere between the two, we had some pretty bad visibility with that same fog that you're seeing out there right now. Alex?
All right, Keith, and you know, we've got wet weather along the Gulf Coast as well. You can see stretching across the coast of Texas, Louisiana, and trying to get into Mississippi as well. This is an area that's going to remain quite soggy over the next few days. Here's tomorrow. Right along Interstate 20, we've got some of that rain. That spreads by Friday into the ATL with some scattered showers as well as storms up into the Tennessee Valley. We head into the weekend. You got some weekend plans going. Well, it's going to involve the risk for some rain showers and storms. So you get it day after day after day of dealing with some of this rain, and it'll add up. The zone where we're most concerned, Louisiana, northern and the southern area, we could see 3 to 5 inches in some spots. Back in a moment, talking ice jams.
Before Chris Hadfield, before Sally Ride, we turned ordinary people into heroes. Shake hands with a hero at Astronaut Encounter, one of thousands of exciting things to explore at Kennedy Space Center Visitor Complex in Orlando. Always exploring.
I'm Jerry Bell II.
And Jerry Bell III.
I'm like a big bear. He's my little cub. This little guy is non-stop. He's always want to hang out with his friend. Got to be prepared to sit at the edge of your seat and be ready to get up. There's no deep couch sitting. It's definitely not good for my back. This is the part I really don't like right here. What's that? Package. It's a Swiffer wet jet. It almost feels like it's moving itself. It's kind of fun. That comes from my floor? This is Deep Couch City.
Deep Couch City.
I'd like to put in my 15-year notice.
You're quitting?
Technically retiring, sir. With a little help from my State Farm agent, I plan to retire in 15 years.
Wow, you're totally blindsiding me here. Who's going to manage your accounts? This is a devastating blow I was not prepared for.
Take charge of your retirement. Talk to a State Farm agent today.
As the host of a popular home improvement show, I know a lot about finding a great contractor for home repairs and improvement projects. Now there's HomeAdvisor.com, a free service that matches your project to top local service professionals.
We didn't have to do any work other than say what we needed.
Just 1, 2, 3, I found my guy, and everything was smooth.
And it's always free to use.
We've had nothing but fabulous every single time.
Go to HomeAdvisor.com now to get started on your next project.
Home Advisor. This Sunday, extreme weather of biblical proportions.
The gates of hell are opening up, and this is the entry to it.
Top 10 Bible weather, Sunday night at 9 on the Weather Channel.
Hello, America, and good morning. Temperatures this weekend will reach into the 70s.
What if you could grab the sun and pass its energy on to others? It's what we do at FPL. Our solar energy centers grab the sun, turn it into electricity, and we pass it on to you. And now, as the official solar energy provider of the Miami E-Prix, we're proud to deliver the first ever U.S. solar electric charge to Formula E vehicles.
Thanks for the boost, FPL.
To join us on race day, go to fpl.com/Miami E-Prix for ticket information. At FPL, we're changing the current.
Congratulations, you're down with Crestor.
When diet and exercise aren't enough, adding Crestor lowers bad cholesterol up to 55%. Crestor is not for people with liver disease or women who are nursing, pregnant, or may become pregnant. Tell your doctor all medicines you take. Call your doctor if you have muscle pain or weakness, feel unusually tired, have loss of appetite, upper belly pain, dark urine, or yellowing of skin or eyes. These could be signs of serious side effects.
I'm down with Crestor.
Make your move. Ask your doctor about Crestor.
Stay tuned for your local on the 8s, brought to you by the Lexus Command Performance Sales Event, now through March 31st. See your Lexus dealer.
It's time to experience what's made Lexus the fastest growing automotive luxury brand on the road. There's never been a better time to drive a Lexus. During the Command Performance Sales Event, get great offers on your favorite Lexus models, now through March 31st. See your Lexus dealer.
I design apps, and I like to look my best no matter where I'm going.
Definitely why I bring him here to Burlington. I can find everything I need to make him look like $1 million. I always find great stuff for me too, and we save a fortune.
And as long as she thinks I look good, then I'm happy.
It's time to command track-tested precision with the fastest-growing automotive luxury brand on the road during the Command Performance Sales Event. Lease the 2015 GS350F Sport with complimentary navigation system for these terms and we'll make your first month's payment. See your Lexus dealer.
Tonight, clear to partly cloudy, low 73. Winds. Thursday, intervals of cloud. Thursday night, a few clouds from time to time, low 73. Winds east at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Well, the big thaw potentially dangerous in the Northeast. Right now, the ice along the Delaware River is thicker than it's been in 20 years.
And if it starts melting too quickly, well, it could cause some disastrous ice jams. Our Reagan Medji has more from the banks of the Delaware.
All eyes here in the Poconos are on the frozen Delaware River behind me. We're here at Kittatinny Point in New Jersey, inside the Delaware Water Gap National Recreation Area. This area is very close to the Pennsylvania border as well. And if you're going to look at the Delaware River for 113 miles north, all the way down to here, this is what you're going to see. The entire area is covered in ice. How much ice? Anywhere from 18 inches to 3 feet. In fact, I'm standing on a portion of the 3 feet thickness of the ice. Not only are we looking at how thick this ice is, but now the thaw. You can see it's starting to melt. It's getting slush. You can see the ponding over there. And another thing you're starting to see is a cracking. Right over here, you can see some of the ice cracking. I can stick my finger down inside. Now, the National Park Service is monitoring all of this. They're hoping that this thaw continues, but slowly, and maybe a little rain. But the bigger issue, if there is a lot of rain and a quick thaw.
Right now, all of this ice that we see is one giant sheet of ice, and it's actually anchored right down here on the shorelines on both sides, so it's not going anywhere. It's about 3 feet thick. It's not moving. But if the river levels were to come up because of rain, then that whole sheet of ice is going to get lifted, taking probably some of the shoreline with it. And then when that starts to break up, it'll all start moving downstream. And again, that increased potential for jams is right there.
And the National Park Service says if you combine the thickness of the ice and the ice cover, it's something that they have not seen in 20 years. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Reagan. And speaking of ice jams on the river, this was the scene last week on the Ohio River on the border between Ohio and West Virginia. Big ice chunks on the river and nearby tributaries threatening residents with potential flooding. Right now, some roads are closed in the region due to that high water. And for more on the dangers of ice jams, we're going to go over to Alex in the lab. Alex, you've got some explaining to do.
Indeed, we do. You know, it all starts with those temperatures. You start to warm things up as we have started to do here over the last couple of days, and you run into the issues. We open up the floor to explain this whole situation. So here we have our river there with the ice, and as the temperatures warm, the ice begins to melt, and it's that melted water flowing on top of the ice. It can get heavy enough, and as that happens, that actually weighs in on the ice, breaks it into those big, huge chunks. Then you get a little bit of the rain that comes in as well, and that can begin to flow in over the snowpack and ride into the river, and it increases pretty much the flow of the river, and those big chunks start to now move downstream, and they collect generally at bridges and at the river bends, and they collect in these areas, and the river behind it starts to back up, and that's when we get into the issue. That blockage there and upstream areas really get the brunt of the potential for that flooding. So that's the thing that we look out for when we start talking about ice jams. There is that blockage and the upstream areas that run into the flooding problems. Keith?
All right, thank you, Alex. And we know a lot of you are hoping and praying that winter's worst is over, and some of you are just going on spring break to get somewhere warm anyways. Let's talk about Miami. Miami's always a good bet. It's one of those spots that's almost impossible to get a front through, especially this time of the year. 82 degrees on Thursday, 81 on Friday, 84 on Saturday, and the best day is Sunday, 86 degrees, mostly sunny, and a few showers as we head into Monday, but no big deal. It looks really nice until then. How about South Padre Island in Texas? That looks really nice. Obviously, it's a cooler destination this time of the year. That would go with the average as well. Temperatures there are going to be in the mid-60s, a chance of showers as we head into Saturday. And Arizona, do people go to Arizona for spring break? Well, I guess if you do, it's upper 80s, low 90s. Sunny and windy, 91 on Saturday. So if you want the heat, that's where you want to go. Let's take you to Miami right now, one of the spots that we just talked about. Just gorgeous. 80 degrees right now. The beach all cleared out, but you could still be out there if you wanted to. Going to be nice all the way in through Monday. That's our next chance of some showers.
Introducing new Flonase Allergy Relief Nasal Spray. Now available over the counter in full prescription strength. When we breathe in allergens, our bodies react by overproducing 6 key inflammatory substances that cause our symptoms. The leading allergy pill only controls 1. Flonase controls 6. And 6 is greater than 1. Flonase, the 24-hour relief that outperforms the #1 allergy pill. So go ahead, inhale life. New Flonase. 6 is greater than 1. This changes everything.
I'll ride the highway, I'm going my way, I leave a story untold.
You just keep sending more pictures.
If you're a free-range chicken, you roam free. It's what you do. If you want to save 15% or more on car insurance, you switch to Geico. It's what you do.
You're clean.
Charmin Ultra Strong cleans so much better it meets even the highest standards of clean. With a soft, DuraClean texture, Charmin Ultra Strong is 4 times stronger, and you can use up to 4 times less.
Charmin Ultra Strong.
Before ISS, before Hubble, we built the most extraordinary machine. Stand nose to nose with Space Shuttle Atlantis, one of thousands of exciting things to explore at Kennedy Space Center Visitor Complex in Orlando. Always exploring.
According to the U.S. Department of Energy, most homes have air leaks and drafts that waste so much energy, it's like leaving a window open in your home all year long. Don't let another year go by. Call Champion Windows at 844-4-CHAMPION. And right now, when you buy 2 rooms of windows, you get the 3rd room free. Plus, Champion now offers no money down, no payments, and no interest for 12 months. So call 844-4-CHAMPION today. Because every home needs a champion.
Anna, Tom, what can I help you find today?
We are repainting, but our kids are tough on walls.
I totally get it. You need Valspar. It's our best paint. And with the Valspar color guarantee, if you don't like the color, you get a new one free.
What?
Wow.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Change color for free?
We've been doing that for years. Hey, Val, check it out. Hey, Val.
I
I see you, honey.
Hurry in now to save big on sample pints in any color. Just 99 cents each this month only. Going to the paint studio at Ace is like going to your neighbor.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Are you a man over 40 and feeling tired, losing muscle, have less romantic drive? Then you need Ageless Male, with an ingredient clinically shown to increase free testosterone levels. Ageless Male is now available at these fine retailers.
The English crown has been protected for thousands of years.
I'm asking Parliament to abolish the monarchy.
What does that mean, exactly?
We are not a normal family.
The Royals, Sunday at 10, only on E!
Currently in our area, 79 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Tonight, clear to partly cloudy, low 73. Winds east-southeast at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Thursday, intervals of clouds and sunshine, high 84. Winds east-southeast at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Thursday night, a few clouds from time to time, low 73. Winds east at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
The wildest weather ever caught on camera.
Oh my God!
Tonight, tomorrow night, every weeknight, wild weather at 8 on the Weather Channel.
Well, welcome back to Weather Center Live. I'm Alex Wallace.
I'm Keith Carson. We're tracking some active weather for you tonight. More rounds of rain pushing east. The Gulf Coast right now is our most active spot with showers and storms.
Yeah, absolutely. And some of that activity trying to make its way into the New Orleans area. Here we are looking in on the streets, and looks like wet streets out there, but that's not keeping folks from getting out there. You can't keep folks from getting out and having a good time in New Orleans. You got the tuba out as well, folks on the bike, people dancing. It's a good time, but we got to figure out what's going on down there.
You can pay for a parade, by the way. Like, I try to... Do we have sound? I kind of love this about New Orleans. Yeah. You can just have a parade for whatever. Like, I want a parade every time I come into the studio. Can we make that happen? Just get somebody out there. All right, let's talk about what's going on down there. The active radar across. There's some rain down there, but they don't care. They're good with it. We got flash flood watch, New Orleans included, Baton Rouge, Jackson, Gulfport, all under that flash flood watch for the possibility of some heavy rain that's out there. So New Orleans right there, we just showed you, it's definitely some light rain ongoing. Didn't stop that parade, or one of many that goes on down there in the French Quarter. The heavier rain lurking offshore, that's been the case for the past hour and a half. So it's very slow progress-wise to move northward. And there is some lightning with this, but a lot of it is just heavy downpours. And this whole wall of moisture kind of rotating this way. By the way, this area of showers and storms is the beginning of that storm system that will eventually give much of the east a wet weekend and some snow in through parts of the northeast. It's the same system. Out here, we've got front coming through, showers and thunderstorms. Some of these a little bit on the stronger side. And for the severe side, let's go over to Dr. Forbes, who's in the lab.
And that storm that's affecting the coastal areas of Texas and Louisiana will also be part of the storm system that get a little bit more energy tomorrow and might give some severe thunderstorms to Louisiana and Mississippi. Today, it was eastern North Carolina as a weak cold front, I've drawn it here on white on the weather map, pushed into areas that were unseasonably warm. Some places daily record warmth, red temperatures here in the 70s to even 80s at that point. And so we did have some wind damage there around Pantego and the Robersonville areas and the Pitt County areas of eastern North Carolina. That storm has come out across the Pamlico Sound. Very cool waters there now, so it has weakened quite a bit. It's going to come in just north of Hatteras on the Outer Banks and as weakened considerably, no longer severe. Other thunderstorms farther south are not right on the front. They're pop-up thunderstorms with just all that warmth in between Albany and Cordell, Georgia there, and then a number of them, they'll weaken as we get into the evening across the Florida Peninsula. But it's looking a little bit more into the warm season than we've seen for quite a while in the Gulf Coast states. Today, I was watching this cluster of high-top thunderstorms. The brighter they are, the oranger, the higher they were earlier weather on. They've weakened, as Keith was talking about, as they've come toward land there. Here's what all we're seeing right now is the eastern edge of it out over the warmer water with some lightning well to the south and east of Louisiana. But here's why that happened. Water temperatures out in the central Gulf, 74 there. As you got closer to shore, 60, these bluer colors. So that's a big difference in terms of the warmth and the instability that were available. The storms have gotten into more stable air. But there's another round. You can see a little bit of a spin here in this water vapor satellite imagery over Mexico. That too will push its way northeast tomorrow. And so the combination of the two may give a few severe thunderstorms, extreme East Texas, these red shaded areas, Louisiana, central and southern Mississippi, southern parts of Alabama. I think the tornado threat probably is going to be highest there, Mississippi, Louisiana. Only a 2 to 3 on the tornado index scale, Torcon, 20 to 30% chance of a tornado within 50 miles. Here's how it may evolve. One round coming in tomorrow morning, probably not going to be severe, but might give a flooding threat locally. Then as we get into the afternoon, there in that Arkansas, Mississippi, Louisiana, and then down into southeast Louisiana, there we have storms that those are the ones that could become severe. So I'm thinking an afternoon threat, maybe a tornado or two, not a huge deal, but the atmosphere is finally kicking in after what's been a very quiet start to the year. Alex?
All right, thanks so much, Dr. Forbes. Well, we move into the Northeast. The pothole problem here, it's not going away anytime soon. This footage shot in the Boston area yesterday showing just how bad the roads are at this point. I mean, we're talking about roads that don't even look like potholes. They look like earthquakes are taking place. You're not just going to be filling that in. You're going to have to repave that entire road. Oh, not a fun situation there. All right, well, we've got the chance for some wintry weather here to move back into portions of the Northeast as we head into our weekend. Some will be wintry, others will be a little bit more on the wet side. Now, Boston's one of those spots that at this point, we've seen so much snow that we are approaching record territory. So it's like, let's just break the record. We're 2 inches away from seeing the snowiest season on record. Unfortunately, at least what's coming in this weekend, we may not see it. I'll show you why in just a second. Now, there's the snow cover. Still have plenty of it here across New England. Some areas still across parts of Maine. Over 2 feet of snow still on the ground. Now, as we head to the weekend, here's the setup. Got a little bit of a dip in the jet stream, so there's going to be some chilly air that's in place. Southern branch of the jet stream helping to pump a little bit of moisture on off towards the north. We'll see an area of low pressure developing as well, but look where it's developing inland a bit. So that's going to allow for some warmer air to push northward, and that's why we won't see all snow. Most of us will actually be talking about the rain, and that's what we start seeing on Saturday. Boston southward, you'll be dealing with that. Maine will be a spot that sees some of that snow continuing into Saturday night. Rain and snow mixture across New York State. By Sunday now, with some cold air sort of coming on the backside of our system, we may switch over to some snow mixing with rain in Boston. But will it be enough to bring us 2 inches? Highly unlikely there. So it doesn't look like we'll be breaking that record in Boston here this weekend. There's the rain Saturday night, and the rain-snow mix with a high of 40 on Sunday. Keith?
All right, thanks, Alex. One place that just isn't getting the snow it desperately needs, the Sierra. Check out these photos from the Socorro National Park, comparing the snow on the ground currently to 1 year ago. By the way, 1 year ago was a bad year as well. And today, the USDA released some new numbers saying the warm February temperatures further declined the snowpack. Nearly a third of the sites in the Cascades and Sierra Nevada are reporting the lowest snowpack ever measured, and for the first time, some sites are completely snow-free. Carl Parker in the lab right now, and Carl, this situation not going to get any better as we head into the typically drier months.
Yeah, it is really distressing, and as you mentioned, the wet season in California is November through March, and so if we don't get a lot more rain in a hurry, and snow for that matter, it's going to be very bad indeed as we go into the warmer and drier months. And here's the current state of the drought across the West. Right now, about 4/10 of the state of California in exceptional drought. That's the worst level of drought, and about 2/3 of the state in extreme drought. That's the second worst level of drought. Now, we did see some moisture being trained on California in the last 24 hours. Here is a look at the visible satellite picture and the current rain, and we did get some rain out of this, but not very much. About 1/100th of an inch of rain, and we would need about 1,800 times that amount to end the drought in 1 month's time. So we need so much more than we're going to get anytime soon. We do expect that there is going to be a big feed of moisture, big plume here driving into California over the weekend. It's going to be more directed on the northern part of the state than the southern part of the state, but certainly we'll take it. We'll take anything that we can get at this point. But here is what's going on with the Sierra Nevada. The snowpack, the snow water equivalent in the snowpack, now running between 16 and 20% of average. So there's hardly any snow in these mountains, and they use these mountains to feed the Central Valley in California, which is one of our very most important agricultural regions, and this is for the entire country. And to give you an idea of why it is so important, there's a look at the percentage of different crops that we get as a nation from that one valley in California. Staggering numbers: 99% of artichokes, almonds, walnuts, 98% of garlic, 96% of olives, 95% of broccoli. So this is why this affects all of us. If there's not enough water getting to these crops, then all of these products are going to become a lot more expensive. Keith, Alex, back to you.
All right, we'll be watching for that. Thanks, Carl. Still ahead, we have a look at the week from coast to coast.
Yeah, we're going to be looking live now at the ATL. This is the view from the top of the Coca-Cola World headquarters. We got some clouds out there. It looks like the rain's staying generally south of us in the ATL, but hey, warmth. That is something we have gotten in place in Atlanta. How long is that warmth going to stick around? Well, that answer's coming up in that 7-day forecast.
Currently in our area, 79 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Tonight, clear to partly cloudy, low 73. Winds east-southeast at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Thursday, intervals of clouds and sunshine. High 84. Winds east-southeast at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Thursday night, a few clouds from time to time. Low 73. Winds east at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Toenail fungus? Don't hide it. Tackle it with FDA-approved Jublia. Jublia is a prescription medicine proven to treat toenail fungus. Use Jublia as instructed by your doctor. Once applied, Jublia gets to the site of infection by going under, around, and through the nail. Most common side effects include ingrown toenail, application site redness, itching, swelling, burning or stinging, blisters, and pain. Tackle it. Ask your doctor now if Jublia is right for you.
Sometimes, bigger is better. But other times, bigger just gets in the way. At Brother, we know the biggest printer isn't always the best fit for every office. So we've come up with a bigger idea. Don't supersize, optimize. See how we can help you put the right printers in all the right places and help reduce your costs. Now that's big. Brother, at your side. Learn more at don'tsupersizeoptimize.com.
It's March. Time to seize the moment at your local Hyundai dealer. Right now, get a 2015 Elantra for just 0% APR for 60 months. Plus, get $1,500 March bonus cash. Take advantage of these limited time offers and upgrade to the award-winning Elantra. But hurry, time is running out. The Hyundai Seize the Moment sales event ends March 31st. Seize your Elantra today and get $3,250 cash back.
For 4 days only at Men's Warehouse, great savings just got even better. Right now, buy one, get one free on almost everything in the store. Plus, take an additional 30% off all clearance items, from suits to dress shirts and more. Confidence in every look. Only at Men's Warehouse.
Sensitive bladder? Try new Always Discreet. Up to 40% thinner for superior comfort. Absorbs 2 times more than you may need. No wonder more women already prefer new Always Discreet pads over Poise. Visit alwaysdiscreet.com for coupons and to learn more.
Spicy Super Crunch chicken strips are not your mom's chicken strips.
What about my mom?
I like these chicken strips.
Well, we'll see how this goes. Mom, you have an admirer.
She is interested?
Chicken with a kick. Spicy Super Crunch chicken strips. This is how you Sonic.
Whatever their stickers say, they'll all lose suction because their filters clog. But with our sonic tips oscillating at 5,000 hertz, only new Dyson Kinetic Science won't lose suction.
What's he doing? You think I have time to run into?
Golfsmith. Anything for golf.
The FDA issued a public notice to doctors and patients concerning serious injuries caused by transvaginal mesh, bladder mesh, pelvic sling, and bladder sling. Please call now if you had one of these devices implanted in the last 5 years. You may be entitled to a cash award. If you had a transvaginal mesh, bladder mesh, pelvic sling, or bladder sling in the last 5 years,
please call 1-866-686-7952 now.
Hey, Alex, where Brooklyn at? We're looking at it right now. This is the thaw in a nutshell with the moisture just coming down. I got up into the 50s today. That's what you get, just flowing down into the city. All right, the spring thaw is a sign of rebirth and rejuvenation.
It sure is, but it can also be destructive and quite dangerous. And Sam Champion, he has more in our deep dive into the wow behind the weather.
During the brutal cold of winter months, particularly in high elevations and northern latitudes, the temperature of the soil can drop below 32 degrees, several inches below the surface. As a result, water inside the soil and even inside rocks can turn to ice, freezing the ground solid. But as spring approaches, days get longer and temperatures rise. Sunlight begins to warm up that frozen earth. The soil thaws, and its top layer finally warms up to about 55 degrees. New plants can then germinate, and crops can be planted. But as the earth awakens, hidden threats can also spring to life. Remember during the winter with the water freezing in the soil? Well, that causes the ground to swell by as much as 10%. So when that ice melts during the spring thaw, the soil shrinks back. But the added moisture doesn't run off quickly, resulting in ground that's saturated. It can be more than 60% softer than during the summer months. This can cause paved roads to buckle, opening hazardous potholes. The ice covering rivers and streams begins to break up as well into ice floes. And that can create jams several miles long and sometimes over 10 feet high, higher than the top of a stop sign. These ice jams can cause floods by forcing a river to back up. And in a very short time, the river can rise as much as 10 feet above established flood level. And now you've been brainstormed. Sam Champion, The Weather Channel.
The dangers of the ice jam, something that we have to deal with as we warm things up. Well, meanwhile, we get you to Hartford, Connecticut. Yeah, live look. St. Patrick's Day parade there is actually postponed until next Saturday. It's in light of, well, not so ideal weather that is expected this weekend. Last year, it was 5,000 people who attended the festivities, which will now be held on March 21st, the day after we officially ring in spring. Keith?
All right, thanks, Alex. I think they're still going forward with the Boston one as far as I know, right? We'll see what happens there. It'll probably be rainy as well. All right, let's talk about your 7-day forecast. Tomorrow down across the Gulf Coast, showers, thunderstorms there, very similar to what we saw today. Some pretty good moisture available. Otherwise, relatively quiet. And Friday, it's our main story as well. It's growing larger spatially. The low starts to develop a little bit. Still some heavy rain and possibility, so flash flooding always going to be in play there. Otherwise, relatively quiet. Boston, New York City into the 40s. And also out west, quiet as well. We talked about how they need some moisture, some snow, some rain. Not going to happen, at least in the short term. As we head into Saturday, this storm system, we had our eyes on this for a while because there might have been just enough cold air to give us some problems. That wasn't really the case, though. It looks like we're going to see mainly rain. New York City, even up into Boston, mainly rain. It's my friends up in northern New England, Vermont here, that's going to see the most snow from this system Saturday night, Sunday morning. Now, everyone will change over on Sunday as the storm system departs, but typically not as much moisture with it. So some snowflakes a possibility here, but I don't think there'll be big accumulation. on Sunday. Middle part of the country quiet, 70 in Dallas, 73 in Atlanta. Another storm system now moving in through the Pacific Northwest. That system brings some rain, some elevation snow in through Montana as well. But Monday we get back to a quieter pattern across the east, at least 41 in Boston, 51 in New York City, and coming back around here until Tuesday. Not a whole lot going on. We are going to have to watch a clipper. There is a clipper coming down from Canada, swinging down here, and it could bring some snow back into New England, and it could very well actually be the one that breaks the record in Boston. We'll see that. Obviously, Alex, we've been watching this record for a while. Mike Seidel is going to go back there every week till we break it, so it may come up here this Tuesday.
Oh, so true. Well, spring, it might be around the corner, but could more snow be in store for the Northeast? Don't want to put those shovels, hats, and mittens away just yet. We're going to pinpoint the snow potential. That's straight ahead.
There's nothing more romantic than a spontaneous moment, so why pause to take a pill? And why stop what you're doing to find a bathroom? With Cialis for daily use, you don't have to plan around either. It's the only daily tablet approved to treat erectile dysfunction, so you can be ready anytime the moment is right. Plus, Cialis treats the frustrating urinary symptoms of BPH, like needing to go frequently, day or night. Medical conditions and medicines, and ask if your heart is healthy enough for sex. Do not take Cialis if you take nitrates for chest pain, as it may cause an unsafe drop in blood pressure. Do not drink alcohol in excess. Side effects may include headache, upset stomach, delayed backache, or muscle ache. To avoid long-term injury, get medical help right away for an erection lasting more than 4 hours. If you have any sudden decrease or loss in hearing or vision, or any symptoms of an allergic reaction, stop taking Cialis and get medical help right away. Why pause the moment? Ask your doctor about Cialis for daily use. For a free 30-tablet trial, go to Cialis.com.
We build weather inventions.
Wow, anybody else surprised it actually worked?
Mother Nature can absolutely change people.
I'm ready to get out of here and create a new track.
This is a tornado emergency.
It was hard to believe weather could do that.
Never seen anything like this in my life.
Tonight, mainly clear, low 73. Winds east-southeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Thursday, partly cloudy, high 84. Winds east-southeast at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Thursday night, a few clouds, low 73. Winds east at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Grandpa Bodie, Grandma said you used to be out of control.
Really? I guess I did take some risks. I trained a little bit differently. I was a little too honest sometimes. The media is useless.
You were out of control.
But not always.
Apples are good. A Strongbow hard cider, better. But Strongbow over ice is the best. Enjoying Strongbow over ice with your slow-motion horse? The bestest. Strongbow, world's #1 hard cider.
We're here today asking kids what their favorite vegetable is.
Kids?
Now we're going to give those same kids Bush's Baked Beans.
That's good.
And finally, we're going to tell them that Bush's Baked Beans are actually a vegetable.
Ixnay on the vegetable bay.
Oh, right. Bush's secret family recipe gives them a delicious flavor, so they're a vegetable that kids actually like.
Bush's Baked Beans, the vegetable that kids.
If you're not happy with how your allergy medicine treats your congestion, rethink relief with Nasacort Allergy 24-Hour. Unlike antihistamines that target only one cause of your symptoms, Nasacort stops more, relieving the worst nasal allergy symptoms, even congestion, for 24 hours. It's non-addictive and has no harsh taste, and unlike Flonase, it's scent and alcohol-free. And it's available over the counter at full prescription strength. Rethink your relief with Nasacort. It stops more of what makes you miserable.
Your visions of getting lost in the comfort of stressless seating can now more easily be brought to life at Style & Comfort. For a limited time, enjoy a free leather upgrade from fabric to leather, or from one grade of leather to a superior grade. You can envision the comfort and the tranquility of unwinding in a stressless. And now you can feel it at Style & Comfort in the Stewart Center between Rag Street and Home Goods.
The wildest weather ever caught on camera. Oh my God! Tonight, tomorrow night, every weeknight, wild weather at 8. Coming up next.
Welcome back to Weather Center. It's time now for a quiz. This is on a mountain somewhere in the U.S. Where do you think it might be? Is it in the west? Is it in the northeast? Maybe the Appalachians? Actually, that is Hawaii, where there is a blizzard warning right now above 1,100 feet, or excuse me, 11,000 feet. Pretty amazing. Think of Hawaii as being a warm, wonderful place, which it is, but they get snow as well, and in this case, it's going to be not only snow, but a lot of wind.
Crazy to think that after all the snow that we've seen this past few months, that you have to go to Hawaii to get snow now.
I know, and there's actually no place in the lower 48 that's below zero right now, but yes, we've got winter weather. There's this broad southwesterly flow, a lot of moisture coming in. Obviously, this is mostly a rainstorm, a lot of rain coming right in across Kahului right now, but we are also going to get plenty of snow in the highest of elevations on the Big Island there. Blizzard warnings in effect. Those little pink areas, that's above 11,500 feet, where we're expecting 5 to 8 inches of snow and winds of up to 85 miles per hour. Now, nobody really lives there, but people do work there. Mauna Kea Observatory is up there. And we want to also show you what's going on with the temperature profile in the atmosphere and what's called the environmental lapse rate. So it's very warm down near the water there, but as you go up in the atmosphere, it gets really cold in a hurry. By the time you get to 15,000 feet, that's where you've got temperatures that are freezing, and that is exactly how we get that snow in the highest elevations in Hawaii. And they've got snow skiing there as well.
So you could do a little snow skiing and then hit up the beach a little bit later in the same day.
Yeah, it's supposed to be an amazingly beautiful place, and I've never been. I'd love to go someday. Here's a look at the storm that's going to be affecting the Northeast this weekend. A lot of moisture coming up from the south. There is still cold air in place in the Northeast. So this little blue line here is the rain-snow line. You'll notice that it's going to be fairly far to the north as this really kicks in. So this is mostly going to be about upstate New York and northern parts of New England. There's that moisture and cold interacting come early Monday morning, but this will be developing late Saturday and then going through the day on Sunday. And this is what we've got right now in our forecast, showing snow and a mix in Maine, New Hampshire, and Vermont. And then by Saturday night, you see the mix extending back across a lot of the Empire State. And then going into Sunday, we find mostly snow as colder air wraps in and behind the system. So we're not quite done with wintry weather. At least it is away from the 95 corridor for the most part, but we're going to get probably several inches of snow, especially in northern parts of New Hampshire and Vermont and through a lot of Maine.
So looking in Boston, a spot that we're so close to getting to that #1 spot, snowiest season on record. Not looking like we'll be doing it.
Yeah, I don't know that they're going to get a whole lot of snow out of this next one. But, you know, the cold is going to come back, which is pretty amazing considering all that we've been through. And, you know, one of the things that's happening is you've got these really big, warm areas of high pressure that are developing along the coastal parts of North America. We saw that along the west coast for the longest time. Huge ridge all the way up into Western Canada, and concordantly a big dip in the jet stream in the east. Well, now we're not seeing as much of that ridging, though it's not quite going away either, but we're going to see a big ridge developing in the North Atlantic, and concordantly you've got a big dip here in the jet stream and cold air coming in once again to eastern Canada and the Northeast, so we cannot quite get out of it. Temperatures will be below average going into the middle of this month.
All right, so chilly times continue even as we head into spring. All right, thanks so much, Carl. Keith, we'll send it back to you.
Carl dropping the big SAT words on us as well. Appreciate that. Let's take a look at Southern California. They're turning up the heat there. LA in the low 90s as we take a look at the warming trend going on out there. And you know what? That's been the case through much of this winter. Now as we head towards spring, we've had a ridge in the west. It's been warmer there, and it's been cool and troughy in the east. It's kind of the same thing going on here. Highs on Saturday, flirting with records and in some cases breaking them. LA, the record is 88. We're forecasting 89. That could go either way, obviously. Long Beach, 90 is our forecast. Record is 85. That looks like a good chance for us to break it there. Temperatures right now pretty warm down to the south. Phoenix, 85 degrees. LA sitting at 70, more typical for this time of the year. They're going to be getting a lot warmer, though, as we head into the weekend. Temperatures really increasing there. And again, strong upper level ridge has been the deal all through the winter. So we kind of got off that pattern for a week or so. Now we're getting back into it. That brings those offshore winds. It's all about the wind direction in California and starts to warm things up 10 to 20 degrees above average into the weekend. And that's kind of where we'll sit at. Pretty warm, 89 in LA on Friday, 87 in San Diego. And as we head into Saturday, still 89 in Los Angeles, 83 in San Diego. San Francisco, hard to warm them up too much, but they'll be about 10 degrees above average, sitting at 73. Beautiful, 71 on Sunday, 87 on Los Angeles, 83 in San Diego, and 85 in Vegas. A lot of people don't realize that Vegas actually gets pretty cool during some times of the year. Not going to happen this time around. All right, Phoenix, average high is 76 degrees. They'll be looking a little bit more like early summer into the upper 80s and lower 90s. All right, stay with us. We have one more thing to tell you about in a minute.
Currently in our area, 78 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Tonight, mainly clear, low 73. Winds east-southeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Thursday, partly cloudy, high 84. Winds east-southeast at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Thursday night, a few clouds, low 73. Winds east at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Welcome back. Let's talk about some showers and thunderstorms across the Gulf Coast. Pretty active right now in towards southern Louisiana. A good deal of lightning. Most of this is offshore, but this whole band rotating inland into New Orleans. Some heavy downpours there and in through southern parts of Louisiana. Eventually in Mississippi and Alabama as well, the southern shore. They'll see some showers and thunderstorms through the evening. We jump over in through Georgia. We have some thunderstorms here as well. These have not been as widespread, but they've actually been a little bit stronger here. You can see more lightning, more heavy downpours here from Macon, Georgia down to the south, and Savannah to the east of Savannah, seeing some showers and thunderstorms there as well. A few isolated stronger storms, for the most part not a ton. We've seen a few of them across the Carolinas as well. Now more rain as we head into Raleigh and Wilmington, a few thunderstorms offshore there. And that's all part of the bigger picture. This storm system will develop into a larger storm by tomorrow, or severe weather threat through tomorrow down across the south shore in the Gulf Coast. All right, stay with us. Strangest weather on Earth coming up next.
God.
Strange lightning bolts you can hold.
This keeps getting bigger as we're going down.
An unbelievable backwards flowing river. From weird supersized icicles.
I looked out my bedroom window. This is what I saw.
To monstrous thunderclouds caused by fire.
It's like a mushroom cloud. It's just exploding.
Oh my God, look at it go.
Welcome to the wild world of weather, where you'll see nature go nuts. Extraordinary events stranger than anything Hollywood can dream up. We discover how and why these crazy conditions happen.
Whoa! Woo!
You won't believe your eyes. This is the strangest weather on Earth. The Arecibo Observatory, Puerto Rico, September 2001. An astonishing beam of vivid blue light, bursting 43 miles upwards into the atmosphere. It's a spectacular natural event, known as a blue jet. Not much is known about these enigmatic jets, according to lightning expert George Karunas.
We're very familiar with lightning, these bolts of electricity that come out of thunderstorms. But there are types of lightning well above the thunderstorm that we know so little about. Blue jets are one example of that. Blue jets tend to go from the tops of thunderstorms up in a conical shape. Very, very bizarre, crazy type of lightning.
Blue jets are electrical discharges blasted into the atmosphere by thunderstorms. They travel 300 times faster than sound, erupting into the stratosphere for less than a second before disappearing.
That sliver of the atmosphere, we know so little about it. The only reason why we know these things existed in the first place is that there have been a few eyewitness reports from pilots flying at night seeing these strange flashes. And of course, that got the interest of scientists who have now verified that this effect does indeed exist.
Incredibly, the first recording of them was taken from an aircraft as recently as 1994. Beautiful but elusive. Very few images of blue jets have ever been caught on camera. Joe Dwyer is head of physics and space sciences at the Florida Institute of Technology.
It seems sometimes like we know more about the backside of the moon than we know about our own atmosphere just a few miles over our heads. It's absolutely incredible that these gigantic discharges, they fill up the sky, they're bright enough to see. It's amazing that we didn't notice them until just a few years ago.
Using a Van de Graaff machine, Joe demonstrates the jets on a small scale.
We can use the Van de Graaff machine